Hello and welcome to the 7th round of the Neucom Touring Car Championship for the Round of Sweden here at the Göteborgs Motorbana. This racetrack used to be a lot longer with a bunch of squiggly bits that cuts across the forest, but has since been reduced to cut maintenance costs. Here this afternoon, we have a lot of changes here to the driver grid from the last race weekend. As such, Sean Angel has been promoted to the number 36 as he has swapped over away from Midnight United Racing, which causes Veronica Ryan to pilot the number 42 in this Irish green number 42. Karim Salih, the first driver of Estonia, will be debuting in car number 41 in the place of the suspended Vince Fries in the yellow number 41. He's the first driver out of Estonia from Carlisle Motorsports to debut here today. Without further ado, let's take a look at our starting grid. Sitting on a pole here for this afternoon will be Yuji DeMax, as he will try to extend his points lead from Yuki Tamura, who flanks him on the outside. On row 2, we have Rene Hirose and Kei Takahashi, that all three Neucom cars within the top 5. Fadi Bidibasa and rival Jeffrey Finguy flanking him on the outside. Followed by Blake Warren and Vincenzo Focasato, who's having a very solid rookie campaign. Hunter Veslowski and Kirk Vandenberg with a solid qualifying run for once for both Petronas Mercedes. Max Canati and Sean Angel with a great run for BWT Renault Sport. Rio Lucas and Arturo Morales, followed by Patrick Smith and Nathan Orman. Tatiana Rosales is a bit on the hot seat right now, seeing if Bosi Markjanovic, as we'll mention later in the race. Mitchell Carter with a poor qualifying effort. Same goes for Kiki Laukkanen, teammates of Markjanovic. Marco Kosteka and Hudson Williams just outside of top 20. Dylan Schwallenberg and Bud Fuchs, pretty par qualifying positions for them. Scott Roush and Morello Cardoso in car number 48. Veronica Ryan in the 42, V27. Sebastian Van Dalen in 28. He's got a lot of work to do here today. Naomi Osakawa and Genji Paling. 29th and 30th, Lamona, followed by Yoshiko Sakamoto. Lamona will be with TRD for the rest of the year. Barshio Hansen and Donovan Cage with a rather lackluster qualifying effort. Kareem's Elite, 35th place. Still a solid qualifying run for him, for someone who was only debuting in a Neucom Touring Car Championship. Now, as we line up the grid for the feature race here at Sweden, it's DeMax taking the green flag, and away we go. A great start for Kei Takahashi. She's going to jump to the inside almost immediately. Tamura did not get a much better start. I don't quite know what that situation is going to be with Neucom's team orders to try to preserve that championship battle. DeMax did gain about 5 points on Tamura in the Drivers' Championship for getting the pole for this race, so bear that in mind, as car number 6 has taken the race lead almost immediately out of turn 1. We're still 3 wide for second here between DeMax, Fidobasa, and Tamura. There nearly was contact between the top 2 in the championship standings. So as Takahashi is going to pull away from the rest of the grid, here's a flyby shot heading down the hill with these massive sausage curbs that were installed earlier this year. Now that's to discourage any cars running off wide over there. As DeMax pulls away from Tamura, it's Rene Hirose versus Yuki Tamura, with both teammates battling for the 3rd position. Of course, Tamura being the rookie from last year. DeMax making a mistake in the latter half of this lap. We'll see what becomes of that battle, but Rene Hirose, as of late, has had quite a lot of momentum go her way. She had a 4th place in the feature race in Germany, followed by a win in the sprint race, something that Hirose has desperately needed throughout the course of the year. A poor corner, last corner of Tamura is going to allow Hirose to challenge for 3rd. I wonder what the team orders will be for that one, because it was obviously clear that there was a very long meeting with the 3 Neucom drivers regarding what happened to the sprint race in Germany when Kei Takahashi couldn't seem to get out of her own teammate's way. Suffice to say, there was a bit of ego that had to be humbled there for a second, but Takahashi seemed to have carried that anger towards the racetrack as she now tries to pull that gap away from Yuji DeMax in car number 23. As Hirose now kind of flanks Tamura to contend with some of the other faster cars. Focasato and Fidobasa being 2 of those in particular, but it seems that they're in the midst of a battle with Blake Warren. Blake Warren having a pretty quiet run throughout the course of the year. He's had some very solid results throughout the start of the year, but honestly nothing noteworthy of car number 8, as he hasn't won since 2019. Now, here is Sean Angel in car number 36. He's still within the top 20, right now within the top 15 as we speak. Angel with a fantastic run in car number 36. This team desperately needs some points if they're going to want to advance for next year. We'll see what becomes of that later. Hudson Williams is trying to crawl up the grid in car number 37. This is Corsa de Rosa's second start of the year, as they were in Italian GT racing previously. There's Tatiana Rosales and Sebastian Van Dalen, who's picked up some positions himself. As you can see, that yellow Red Bull car is being run by Marco Casteca to differentiate him from teammate Dylan Schwallenberg for the remainder of the year. This is to represent the pride of his heritage of Ukraine. Back to Hudson Williams, though. He scored some decent points for the team, but it's his teammate Donovan Cage that we're a little bit more concerned about, who has yet to score a singular point this year. Hopefully that will change coming to the round of Finland, as Donovan Cage once again had a very lackluster qualifying effort. But Hudson Williams, as it was with the ill-fated Baxter Motorsports team, seems to be hard-carrying the charge for this team. A great effort for the oldest driver on the grid here so far. Meanwhile, Rosales doing battle with Van Dalen for position, although that's not going to go over well. Not a good exit for her. Rosales on the hot seat a bit there with Team Nismo, as they're not very pleased with her lackluster performance throughout the start of the year. Her rookie campaign has been nothing but a disaster. Takahashi now under pressure from Eugene to Max, and there's that's Harena Hirose, excuse me, back there in the third with Yuki Tamura flanking her as well. But now, let's see if Takahashi can handle the pressure once more. This is round 2 of this little battle between her and Eugene Max, but it looks like Rena Hirose is going to give her a little bit of help by applying pressure to the 23. Although Hirose might be a little bit more hungry than just a second place. She may try to contend for her first feature race win this year, as it's been elusive throughout most of the start of this year. But back to Takahashi and the whole situation with the team. Okay, Nagase, their race engineer, could not stress enough how important this championship battle is for Yuki Tamura. This is her sophomore season, as she's currently contending with Eugene Max for the Drivers' Championship right now. Gave Takahashi quite the reprimand post-race, especially after the sprint race. Although Takahashi did perform rather well in both instances, she is leading the Rookie of the Year campaign against rival Vincenzo Focasato from over in Scuderia Grosseculo. But Takahashi, not very happy in pre-race when Nagase suggested that there be a strategy change to allow Tamura through. So already that's gone wrong from the very start of the race. So those team motors are already out the window before the start of the beginning of the race. So that really doesn't matter anymore for Takahashi. So it looks like she's going to try to aim high by being one of the first rookies to win the Neucom Touring Car Championship, which has never happened before. So now, Max trying to threaten car number 6 for the race lead as they head over halfway through lap number 4. As Takahashi cracking under pressure a little bit from car number 23. There is a reason that Eugene Max is the championship leader, although, albeit his efforts in that campaign so far haven't been very clean, admittedly. So Max tries to send it around the outside, almost onto the giant sausage curb on the left-hand side. Not an ideal place to pass, as Rena Hirose flanks him on the outside in the last sector. Tamura hanging back just in case anything goes awry between the lead Neucom driver and Max. But Max is going to have the better exit off the final corner. He's now going to challenge Takahashi for the race lead, as he's got the slipstream entering the 5th lap of this race. So now, Hirose looks like she's going to lose out third to Yuki Tamura. And Max looking to challenge Takahashi for the lead. He did not hesitate to make that move once the opening was made by car number 6. And side by side now between both cars for the race lead. And 2x2 right now between Tamura and Hirose, I might also add. So all 4 cars under a blanket for the race lead. And Max is going to have the preferred line. Looks like the 3 Neucoms are about to go 3 wide for second. This is the last thing that this team needs right now, as contact between Tamura and Takahashi. Looks like they were done with their internal drama from last week. And Takahashi's going to hold up the 2 anyway. Oh, geez. This team cannot catch a break when it comes to drama on or off the track, it seems. Mitchell Carter contact with Arturo Morales as both cars go around. This is a replay of what happened as Cardoso tags the front end of the car number 88. Oh. Can't say I'm terribly surprised with that time penalty there. Morales really dove it in too deep. Next lap later, however, it seems that Morales was not done with Mitchell Carter. He sends it up Mitchell Carter, and that's when Cardoso got sent around. Yeah, I have no idea what that was about at all, but that's going to be our first safety car of the day. And yeah, I was about to say that. Thank you to the race engineer over at Volkswagen Motorsport. And oh, I'm not sure that I agree with that call there from race control, but that really should just be from Morales. I don't think Mitchell Carter really had anything to do with this. However, beat it as it may, Demax led the field of the race up, but now we're 3 wide for the race lead. That's Renny Hirose and Kei Takahashi once again. Demax having the better exit around the outside of turn 1. Demax really wants to see that battle for second from right behind him so he can try to pull a gap between the Neucoms. But the Neucoms have been keeping up with car number 23, so he's just had Hondas all over his mirrors of late. And it looks like Yuki Tamura has lost down in third to Fabio Fittipaldi in Yo 1. Meanwhile, battle for the last points paying position here with Tatiana Rosales and Hudson Williams in the 21. It looks like Sebastian Van Dalen has found himself some spots as well up the track. I believe he started 28th and now he's in the points, so this is a great day for Sebastian Van Dalen, especially coming into the sprint race if he holds out as long as he has. But man, that equipment difference here from Team Nismo is definitely going to do Hudson Williams in, as now he looks to lose that another position to Veronica Ryan, who was booted from the TRD program from underperforming. She was completely blown out of the water by former teammate Naomi Osakawa, who's sitting right behind her. And I believe that is Genji Paling setting up the inside of Osakawa. Contact between both cars back there, but it looks like they figured themselves out from here. It seems that battle's not over yet, as next lap later, oh, that's a really botched exit there from Veronica Ryan, but he hasn't made a 2012 series champion from the ill-fated Ryan Speed Shop. Trying to redeem herself over with the Midnight United Racing as their lead driver. Of course, there are 2 completely different drivers for this race, her teammate being Kareem Zalit, a little bit further back in the field. Meanwhile, it looks as though Paling is going to do battle with Hudson Williams for position, as Williams is going to have the better exit off the final corner. Now, I'd like to talk about what happened in the feature race where the brakes failed on the 99 and she had nowhere to go. And quite frankly, I would like to publicly apologize for criticizing Paling for doing what she did late in the race, because quite frankly, the track's design did not allow her anywhere to go by this point. Obviously, it seems to be a bit of a self-redemption arc for Genji Paling in the 99, as she has blown teammate Yoshiko Sakamoto out of the water so far in their campaign. And their relationship with her has been pretty volatile so far. But the mainland Chinese driver having an alright run. She's sitting just outside the top 20, so she can pounce at any time. As oh, there's a little bit of sand and dust kicked up, and we're going to see what happens here as we're focused on Kei Takahashi, it looks like. And it looks like Tamura's going to look in. Oh! Tamura had a wheel in, and Takahashi's run herself off. Oh boy, I wonder if Takahashi tried blocking up the 2. I don't know about that one there. Kay, you kind of put yourself in that situation, didn't you? As now she faces pressure from 2020 Series champion Jeffrey Finkai. She needs to regroup herself over here. Sitting in the top 30 right now is debutante Kareem Zalit, the driver out of Estonia who had a pretty failed open wheel racing career in the United States, found himself with Carlisle Motorsports in the North American Touring Car Championship. Zalit running in the top 30 says a lot about his performances so far. As far as I'm concerned, he's outperforming suspended driver Vince Freeze, which could definitely raise Freeze's ride into question should Zalit outperform the equipment that he's in right now. Seemingly, that seems to be the case for car number 41, Zalit was very nervous when he got the call up to replace Vince Freeze, although Midnight United Racing had the option to withdraw that entry for this weekend. So they're taking a bit of a risk there with Zalit here for this weekend. He's a very young driver. He's 19 years old. Meanwhile, Sebastian Van Dalen and Hudson Williams do battle for position. I believe that's still within the points. Genji Paling has joined the battle as well, as they both get by car number 7, so Van Dalen losing out 2 spots in that battle. Williams having a fantastic run so far in the 37. He looks to set himself up for a big points finish if he finds himself on pole for a sprint, but we'll just have to see what becomes of that campaign here in a bit. But solid run for car number 37, although the equipment suggests that he should be running up higher than that. Yuki Tamura this time is going to do an undercut strategy on Eugene DeMax. It was obvious that she wasn't close enough, and yep, that's the response from Team Nismo over to DeMax. So, Tamura in pit road. It looks like one of the Agrasakulos are in pit road as well. I see Kiki Laukkanen back there as well. I see a Volkswagen Motorsport. That's Bud Fuchs back there. I believe both of the LG Hyundais have entered pit road as well. That was not a good stop there. I believe that was Rio Lucas in Yo 3. Cardoso getting that damage repaired as best he can. And there's Mitchell Carter back there as well. Both drivers have had a pretty miserable race weekend here so far. The rest of the field comes down pit road the next lap later, as Rene Hirose was marked 2nd on track. So far, yeah, nobody's staying out, it looks like. Nobody is shooting for an overcut strategy. So I have to wonder if Yuki Tamura has learned from the mistake of going with the extreme overcut strategy that ultimately cost her the feature race win in her campaign against Eugene DeMax here last weekend over in Germany. So we'll have to see what becomes of this pit road group here. DeMax comes out first, followed by Hirose, and I believe that's one off pit road. Oh, that's not good for Takahashi. Problems with her in pit road, and I believe the same goes for Jeffrey Finguy. That's going to cost them probably points here for today. And it always is something for Jeffrey Finguy, isn't it? As Finguy blocks off, I believe that was Sean Angel in the 36. And yes, it is. Angel has not had a good pit stop himself. He started 12th today. He's well outside of points from the looks of things. So a bad stop for both Takahashi and Finguy are going to cost both of them dearly. The undercut strategy seems to have worked in Yuki Tamura's favor, because now she is right behind her points rival, Eugene DeMax. Right now, I believe that separates them by 17 points in a Drivers' Championship as things stand. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. DeMax so far leading more laps than anybody here this afternoon in the feature race, so that's going to earn him some more points against Yuki Tamura. So I have to wonder if Tamura's going to have an answer for DeMax here very soon, because those cold tires are pretty detrimental for track position in a case of Eugene DeMax. But be it as it may, the sophomore driver looking to be the lead driver here next year if Rena Hirose is unable to keep up. But Hirose doing the best that she can. She's sitting a little bit further back in 3rd place at the moment. She pitted on the same lap as DeMax. But DeMax has had a bit of history with almost every one of the Neucom drivers, so he's not very popular with their fans for sure. With the run-in with Rena Hirose in Canada and in Spain, and of course his aggressive driving attitude towards the lapped cars didn't really seem to help him either. A great pit stop for Van Dalen Autosport as a whole, as Barcia Johansson and Sebastian Van Dalen run 17th and 18th. Johansson desperately needs some good points here for car number 77 if he wants to keep his rookie campaign alive. Although we're not sure what's going to become of the Spaniard's ride here in the future. Looks like he's still signed on through the end of the year, but it's obvious that Van Dalen is blowing his teammate well out of the water at this time. For Sebastian Van Dalen, I mean the son of team owner Akari Van Dalen. Call it nepotism, if you will, in the case for Van Dalen. But a solid run for both cars so far. Martin van der Zijde, we haven't talked about him for most of the day, as what are you doing, Lamona? As she just pinches him into guardrail, or not the guardrail, the concrete wall, and not terribly surprised with that one, and that's a safety car for sure, but on the lap prior, I'd like to mention that Genji Paling has found herself in 11th place in car number 99. This is a very impressive effort from LG Hyundai Motorsport. That is a run that they desperately need for some really solid points if they want to pass some of their championship rivals. We'll just have to see what becomes of that on the restart. Oh, that's not good. Using the max with a vibration, that could mean trouble for car number 23. But let's see what happens here on this restart. Demax takes the green flag once again. It's not a good start for the 23. Here comes Tamura down the inside entering turn 1. Now Tamura's going to have the preferred exit. That vibration might actually be hurting car number 23. And it does, and it absolutely is, as Tamura immediately gets away with the lead. Demax holding up Hirose in the one that looks like the 01 as she chops off Vita Bassa there. I'm amazed that wasn't an accident between those two. But Yuki Tamura looking to run with the race lead. She does have one lap older tires than Demax, but I don't think that will matter in the grand scheme of it all. Demax is probably very frustrated right now as he did not get a good restart, and that's going to cost him dearly. Car number 23 is going to really have to fight for this race lead once more with Yuki Tamura, that's for sure. Max Kanani, we have not mentioned him much at all throughout this race, and he's running a very quiet 6th place. Another respectable run there from the Australian for Ford Racing Australia. I would be remiss to say that Kanani has not had a very solid year so far, because he really hasn't compared to his teammate Jeff Finguy. However, he outperformed his teammate, the American teammate overall last week, and he's on route to do it again here this week with Finguy's pit mishaps with the team. Meanwhile, a bit of a inter-team battle there between Fabio Vitabassa and Vincenzo Focasato. As Focasato looks to the inside of the 01, it looks like Fabio Vitabassa did not have a good restart himself. I wonder if they didn't make the right adjustment to that car. Scuderia Grosseculo is kind of known to have been doing that, especially in the Formula Alpha area. Vita SMA, it looks like the team order is that Vitabassa stays ahead of Focasato. Albeit, I know that Focasato is currently outperforming Kei Takahashi in this race. I don't know if that's going to be enough for him to retake the Rookie of the Year points lead back. Kareem Salit has found himself up a few positions. Got Roush contact with Kosteka, and that was almost a crash between the 41 and the 26. And I don't know if there's more contact with Salit, Roush, and this time Lula Lamona, who's already in trouble with race control from an early incident with Martin van der Zijde. And that was a very quiet response, as Lamona's not even done with Roush yet. Salit is going to go through on Roush and Lamona, so Salit is going to want to have to get away from that little battle going on just ahead of him, as there's a bit of dirt up ahead. We'll see what becomes of that. And this might be why Sakamoto having sent herself and Veronica Ryan off the track, but this time it's Ryan that's going to pay the price for Sakamoto's seeming incompetence on track. And that brought out another safety car right there. A late race restart could allow Demax an opportunity to take the race lead. But now, this is going to be a tough fight for the 23, as he still is suffering from that vibration at this time. He did get a better restart than Tamura, but it wasn't enough for him to take the race lead. He's still right on her back bumper. We'll have to see what becomes of that battle here soon as we enter turn number 3. Demax peaks, Tamura blocks. A very intense battle for the race lead, and potentially the championship lead if things go south between both cars. As Demax looks to peek to the inside in the middle sector. To no avail for 23. As we have a yellow flag on the track. I wonder what that's about. But be it as it may, we'll see what that one's about as we look on back. There's Sean Angel and contact with one of the Van Dalens up and over goes Bud Fuchs, and wow, that's honestly the first time I've seen that happen on the track, and yeah, rolling on a concrete isn't exactly a great thing to do. As we race to the white flag now, trying to race under safety car, it's Tamura leading at the line, and Yuki Tamura is going to come out with the victory here. Contact with Demax and Tamura. Oh boy. Oh, Tamura is furious, and so is... oh, and there's a pit brawl between both teams. I wouldn't advise that, guys, especially on a hot track. Oh boy. Tamura's going to win the race under the safety car conditions, but I'm a bit skeptical of what Max was thinking there. Rene Hirose will round out the podium for Neucom Motors, followed by Fabio Itabasa. Kirk Vandenberg with a top 5 spot. We haven't talked about him much at all today. Max Kunani, Vincenzo Focusato, Kiki Laukinen, Blake Lauren, and Tatiana Rosales round out your top 10. Finally, a good result for the rookie over Team Nismo. Nathan Orman, Hunter Veslavsky, Bosi Markianovic, a solid run from today. Hudson Williams, a great points day from him as well. Arturo Morales. Kei Takahashi, a pretty dismal result. She would have contended for a top 5 if not the win if it weren't for that pit strategy error there with Neucom. Patrick Smith, Naomi Osakawa, Rio Lucas, and Sebastian Van Dalen around your top 20. This is going to be an opportunity for Van Dalen to prove himself here for the sprint race as he takes the pole, but he's got a Scuderia Grosseculo flanking him on the outside pole. As we'll see what becomes of that event here soon. Now, it's up to Sebastian Van Dalen on pole for the sprint race here for the round of Sweden as we're underway once more. 17 laps on the line. As Rio Lucas has a pretty solid start on the inside, he's going to have the preferred line. Down in turn 1, but we'll see if Van Dalen powers through. On the 03, Lucas with a much better start. He's going to get away with the lead relatively quickly. So Van Dalen already lost out on lead contact in the back. That was Kosteka back there. As we'll investigate that in here in a little bit. Patrick Smith up to 3rd. He's been very consistent when it comes to the sprint races so far this year. But now, it's Van Dalen contact for the 03. Van Dalen looks to have a bit of a charge there. There's a lot of track buildup from the feature race, so it seems that Van Dalen's been catching on a lot of grip as Lucas makes a mistake, entering the hairpin, and that's not good for the 03. Van Dalen is going to have a good run, but he's in a bad spot. He's going to have the outside line to run here into the last sector of the track, which is a little bit slower. Lucas tries to flank Van Dalen's racing line. As Van Dalen still holding strong right behind the 03. He's going to have a run, mayhaps. He runs into the grass, but surprisingly holds it together. But it's a poor exit from Lucas. That's going to allow Van Dalen to have the better exit. And he basically surrenders that inside line of defense there as Van Dalen powers around the outside of the Ferrari. That is not something I would have suspected from anyone. And yeah, Seb's team is super thrilled about that one as, oh, Van Dalen almost threw it away immediately afterwards. But I am amazed how good of a start Sebastian Van Dalen has had. He's had a very miserable year so far. He's hoping to make up for it here this afternoon as he tries to pull a gap on the 03. Of course, that's a very tall order for a rookie like Sebastian Van Dalen to try to pull some sort of gap on one of the top teams in the series as he's making a few more mistakes. Contacts again with the 03, but that's going to allow Patrick Smith to come through. I wonder if that was strategic there by Van Dalen, because now it's Smith that's going to try to go through on Lucas as he does with relative ease. Now he challenges Van Dalen for the race lead, but Van Dalen looks to have pulled a gap before entering the last sector once more. So this has been an amazing start for car number 7. I wonder if there was a fire lit under him heading into this weekend. A great start there for Sebastian Van Dalen. I'm very proud to see what he's able to pull here this afternoon. As he tries to pull a gap on Patrick Smith, and we'll just have to see what comes of that. There's Kei Takahashi sitting further back. So we see what happened on lap 1. There's contact with Cardoso and Kosteka. That was a result of Lula Lamona running him over. And so that's a lot of damage to both cars. That's not going to be a good day for either of them. Kasek has not had a very good weekend so far anyways. As Lamona gets her bit of karma in the next lap, as she gets sent off the track by an ambitious Martin Vanderzide. And I wonder... Yeah, you would have to ask yourself if that was necessary, especially because of the first lap collision the way you have. Of course, Vanderzide got taken out by Lamona in the feature race from the second or third safety car. Be it as it may, Patrick Smith did not get a good restart as he's going to fall under attack. Or the clutches of Rio Lucas here, that's going to allow Van Dalen to run away a little bit. Or as I say that, Lucas has a very good entry to turn 1. There's Artur Morales a little further back. I'm surprised his time penalty didn't disallow him from the top 20 from the feature race. But never mind that. Smith takes the lead from Van Dalen, but Van Dalen has a great run entering the second sector. Let's see if Van Dalen can just hold out in the race lead, and yes, he does. Sebastian Van Dalen once again holding out to the race lead. There's Lucas back there to reapply the pressure on Patrick Smith. Patrick Smith, the winner of the sprint race over in Spain earlier this year. They're now going to do battle for second. There's Blake Warren a little further back. I believe he started well down the order. He's having a great charge so far in this race. Now I spoke about Bosi Markjanovic's ride being at risk here. Now, this one is a bit self-inflicted because there's a bit of conflict of interest between Markjanovic's ride and what he wants to do. Bosi Markjanovic has been rumored to have the call up back to rallying for the factory Subaru team. So, who is he going to get replaced by? Who knows? Rumor has it that Ali Nelson could return to the ride full-time after being put on maternity leave the last year. As now he's under pressure from Arturo Morales in a 63, whose ride is also in peril. Chances are he might get swapped over to the factory Subaru team as well for his lackluster performances throughout the first half of the year, as it almost draws to a close. As here's Rena Hirose on the both of them for position as well. Once again, this is for points. And Hirose choosing to back off for now. She does not want to cause any dangerous moves on track. Nathan Norman sitting right behind the flanker on the inside. Yes, he does. But this could be Markjanovic's last race if this were the case, as there's contact between the 1 and the 63. But we'll have to see what becomes of those rumors come the round of Finland over at Karjala. Nathan Norman got both Morales and Hirose for position, so as Morales takes that position back, it looks like, not quite, we'll just have to see what comes of that battle a little bit later. But a pretty solid points effort today so far, at least for Markjanovic, if nothing else. Blake Warren has found himself in third place. He started a little bit further down the order for the sprint race, so picking up a lot of track position is very important for car number 8. Like I said, his last win was in 2019 in the United States after his leg injury in 2018 that saw him miss out the entirety of that year. But it's good to see Warren back in good equipment, and he's a very capable race driver of winning so far in the last several years. He became a championship contender back in 2017, up all the way till the latter quarter of the year. And now Warren, hopefully, going to be able to get his foot back in the right direction. No pun intended there, for the lead driver of GM Team USA. There may be a bit of rumors on what will happen to one of those seats here in the future, but I will not speak on that because there are merely rumors. Hudson Williams still fighting for a respectable top 10 position in car number 37. The old dog seems to be pretty bold throughout his campaign so far this year. He's been carrying the ill-fated Baxter Motorsports, as I mentioned earlier, and now is carrying this team, Corsa de Rosa. As now he does battle with car number 63, Arturo Morales, who has a fire lit up underneath him. If he underperforms at any point later in the season, he could lose his ride and return his Mercedes. Now, down the inside goes car number 37. To no avail for Hudson Williams. He does fall under pressure from Rena Hirose. Hirose chooses to back out. Yuki Tamura sitting a little bit further back. I believe she is running for points at this time. There's Max Canati back there. Jeffrey Finguy has climbed his way up the order as well. He might contend for points later on. And Kei Takahashi gets around Patrick Smith for what I believe is the 4th position. And yes, it is, because there's Sebastian Dalen who might have to contend with both Blake Warren and Rio Lucas, in which Warren has got around Lucas for 2nd already. Despite the poor pit strategy there by car number 6 on pit road, he's having a respectable run. Fabio Vitabassa, on the other hand, has had a miserable sprint race. He had a collision with someone under the safety car, and he's running behind Kareem's the lead on track. A little bit embarrassing mistake under safety car that we didn't catch there from Vitabassa's end, but it's obvious to us that he's not going to be scoring here this afternoon. A bit of a shame there for the lead driver of Scuderia Grosseculo, but of course, the wager with Grosseculo is that if they ended up winning a feature race, they would go to Ferrari. Of course, he already has that win to his name with the Mexico feature from round 3. Hirose now challenges car number 37 for position, as she's going to be able to flank him on the inside towards the outside of turn 2. Let's see if she's going to be able to get a better exit over there. No, probably not, actually, because Williams is holding it out strong. I take that back. He loses that position almost immediately down the straight line into turns 3 and 4. A valiant effort there by Hudson Williams, but it was definitely a tall order to defend from the reigning Drivers' Champion there. 4-time Drivers' Champion, might I add, Farina Hirose. Anyways, her teammate, Yuki Tamura, is running in the points. She's currently running 14th place right now. These are some points that she desperately needs to close upon Yuji Namax. She lost another point to him in this feature race since he got the pole and led the most laps. And I believe he had the fastest lap of the race as well, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, she now sets her sights on car number 63 and 22. That's, of course, Max Canati having another pretty solid day in his campaign this afternoon. As a mistake out of Morales is going to have fallen in punch. Oh, that's not Morales, actually. That is Hunter Veslowski, my mistake. As he easily loses that spot to Yuki Tamura. Veslowski, the only time we've seen him up there in the points was in a championship lead after the United States. So, Veslowski really needs to pick up the pace here, because it's been an absolutely disastrous year for Petronas Mercedes, who have been among the title favorites from the beginning of the year, but that seems to have fallen downhill pretty fast as he loses out to Yuki Tamura. And now Tamura sets her sights on Hudson Williams as he's really falling off the order here. With just a handful left to go here, Blake Warren is applying the pressure to car number 7, Sebastian Van Dalen. He's led the most laps, but Warren has been the fastest car on track here this afternoon. And he'll crack eventually. Says his crew chief there. I'm not completely surprised by the token of confidence that he has in Van Dalen. Van Dalen's cracking under pressure. As previously mentioned from the radio communication, Van Dalen is going to lose out the lead here to Blake Warren in the last sector. And it seems as if Van Dalen's used all of his tires up just to keep ahead of the cars faster than him, equipment-wise. But it's a valiant effort there for Sebastian Van Dalen. He's led them those laps here this afternoon. He'll get those 5 bonus points with relative ease. Those are some points that Van Dalen desperately needs if he wants to help this team out for the future. It's been a pretty miserable campaign for that team so far throughout the year. They've only scored points once or twice in the year, but Blake Warren trying to pull a gap on car number 7, but it looks like Van Dalen's going to try to fight this one back. He's going to catch the toe of car number 8. Meanwhile, for Kei Takahashi, she has found herself in 3rd. So, on the podium for the rookie sensation in car number 6. She would have wished for better for the feature race for points, but you really can't change the past now if you're Kei Takahashi. You can't really compound your problems on the track for the sprint race, so you got to make the most of a bad thing. In her case, I believe she's faster than the top 2, but I don't quite know if there's going to be enough time for her to contend with Blake Warren nor Sebastian Van Dalen, second and first respectively. Naomi Yosokawa having a very solid run in car number 19. However, she's run into problems herself. She's being flanked by just about everybody. Markjanovic, Orman, Patrick Smith. She was running in the top 5 for most of the day, and now she's falling to 8th, I believe. Or no. I take that back. She's 6th place right now, but she's going to fall under the clutches of Rene Hirose and Bosi Markjanovic, which Markjanovic has also had a very solid campaign in sprint races, as he nearly won the round of Great Britain for the sprint when he lost out to Vincenzo Focasato in one of the late race restarts there. But be it as it may, Osakawa now being probably the widest Toyota Camry out there, she's trying to preserve a lot of points for TRD. TRD has already removed Veronica Ryan, who was supposed to be the mentor for Osakawa, but then Osakawa began blowing her out of the water almost immediately. Next lap now, Hirose applying the pressure to Osakawa for position. Osakawa really tried to prove herself a very capable race driver, and she is, but obviously the TRD has not been well adapting to the new cars here so far this year, as she's now falling under the clutches of Nathan Norman, another rookie in that Rookie of the Year campaign. But Hirose could set her sights on a top 5 finish here this afternoon, should she get around Patrick Smith and Bosi Markjanovic later on. Speaking of, later in the lap, Hirose challenging Smith for position. Where have we seen this before? Last week over in Germany, when Patrick Smith was leading some laps, and Hirose swiped the lead and the victory from him for the sprint race. So Hirose also making the most out of a bad situation. Hirose started in 18th place. Now she sets her sights on a top 5 finish. Car number 1 having a great afternoon. This is going to help her championship campaign against Yuji Namax and Yuki Tamura, but she still has quite the hill to climb if she wants to contend for the championship. Down the inside of car number 4, or turn 1, and with ease, Hirose finds herself in the top 5. Fantastic effort from Rene Hirose in car number 1. She's a multi-time drivers champion for a reason. Jeffrey Finguy has found himself in a top 15 battle position with Hartson Williams, as Williams is going to lose out that position. So Jeffrey Finguy also making the most of a bad situation. He's at least going to salvage some points. He had a bad situation last race where he didn't score points in the feature, but he scored points in the sprint. White flag now for Blake Warren. 1 lap to go for car number 8. As I said before, Warren has not won a race since 2019. He's been completely winless in 2020 and 2021. He's come awfully close several times, but victory lane teams have eluded him ever since. The lead driver for the GM Team USA and that team in general desperately needed a good points campaign here this afternoon, and this is his one opportunity to get it. Sebastian Van Dalen looks to have saved his tires. He's going to have one more shot at car number 8 for this race win. It's all going to come down to this. Who's going to have a better sectors 2 and 3? It looks like Van Dalen has a little bit more lateral grip than Blake Warren. We'll see if the young rookie is going to assert victory lane from the old guard that is Blake Warren in car number 8, but Warren has a better exit off the hairpin. Last sector now. Seb has one shot. One last possible shot. He has a better right-hand sweep than Warren. Warren's making some mistakes now. Here comes Van Dalen, but this is the bad place to try to pass, as Warren blocks off that opportunity to pass. And he's becoming the widest Chevrolet Camaro on the track right now. And I believe that was the only shot that Sebastian Van Dalen had. Blake Warren coming down the front straight one last time to take his first win of the year since 2019. Welcome back to victory lane, Blake Warren. A fantastic effort there from Sebastian Van Dalen, but it's all for nothing, but he scores some very valuable points here this afternoon. While very bitter in defeat on the podium, Blake Warren gave him a hug for his efforts. Quite the sportsmanlike driver that he is today. Kei Takahashi will round out the podium. Fantastic effort from her also. Rio Lucas and Rene Hirose will round out your top 5. Hirose with a great points finish for herself as well. Markjanovic, potentially his last race, will finish in 6th. Patrick Smith falls to 7th. Naomi Osakawa falls to 8th. She still makes pretty solid points day for herself as well. Nathan Norman and Arturo Morales will round out your top 10. Kirk Vandenberg, pretty quiet weekend, will come home in 11th. Yuki Tamura climbing up from 20th to 18th. Her points rival Eugene Max with no points here this afternoon. Max Canati Hunter Vaslevsky and Jeffrey Finguy will round out your top 15. It is an all-points day for Petronas Mercedes and Ford Racing Australia, I'd like to add. Same goes for Neucom Motors. Every one of the drivers has scored points here in the sprint race this afternoon. Once again, a fantastic race there with Blake Warren. That fastest lap bonus is going to maximize his points just a little bit, as he's only led the last 5 or so laps of this race. As now we look to the Drivers' Championship, Yuki Max only has a 12-point gap to Yuki Tamura, despite not scoring in the feature or sprint race here this afternoon. Rena Hirose starting to close that gap bit by bit, chipping away at both Damax and Tamura. She is within a whole race lead, or just about. So if she ends up winning both the feature and the sprint with pole and fastest lap and lap bonuses, well, she's got a pretty tall window for that. Kei Takahashi rounds out in 4th, but not far apart from Vincenzo Fukasato, her rival, Rookie of the Year campaign. Kali Vitabasa's disastrous couldn't have a fall to 6th. Blake Warren's victory will launch into 7th. Patrick Smith, Rio Lucas, and Hunter Vaslevsky round out your top 10. Mark Janovich, again, his last start of the year, will come home 11th. Nathan Orman, 12th. Finguy has slipped over to 13th, but he can definitely come back from this. Mitchell Carter, Kirk Vandenberg, Tatiana Rosales, a solid points weekend for her. Yuki Laukinen, Arturo Morales, Max Canati, and Sean Angel around your top 20. Angel, of course, not having scored points at all this weekend. I think the same could be said. Well, honestly, most everyone here in the top 20 has scored points for this weekend. So Angel, despite not scoring points this weekend, is showing a very solid effort with PWC Renault Sport, if nothing else. Next time, a new Cup Circuit Car Championship heads over to Finland for the round of Karjala. Until next time, I'll see you.